My people, here we are, the launch of something I know you're going to love. Right out of the gate, I got to say thank you for being here. I know for some of you, this is like a Valentine's Day, Saturday. We got a holiday coming up on Monday. Some of you guys will be off work, so carving out a little bit of time to be with me on this Saturday at my very persistent request means a lot. As I've told you over and over, I am absolutely going to make this worth your time. So thank you for being here. Indeed, this is it. When I sat down at my computer some time ago to build out the slides for this, slide number one was looking at me, and these are the words that came to mind. This is it. 9 months, guys. I look back at messages and posts and whatnot, and back to last May is when I first started contemplating this whole concept. So I'm having this baby today. Thanks for being in the room with me. 9 months of gestation. My wife does not appreciate that, so I mean that very jokingly. I know it hasn't been nearly as hard as that. It's been a lot of fun. I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on this, and I feel great about it. I have no idea how many hours I've spent on it, but I do know that all the resources I put into this, I feel really peaceful about, because the way it's landed is exciting, if you can't tell. This is the reason why I'm standing here today. Messages just like this came in really last spring. It got to a point to where it was just, I realized this is not scalable, this is not sustainable. I was spending literally hours and hours every single day in front of my computer monitor answering people's questions like this. What do you suggest for a 47-year-old diabetic with ADHD and hypothyroidism? Someone wanting help with weight loss, ADHD, symptoms of memory. I just want to be the best version of myself. What can you do for me? So I love engaging with people, with you guys, and really digging in and helping. But at the same time, it's not sustainable to do it for all of my time, 24/7, obviously. So some of you may have heard me say this before. Obstacles are nothing more than opportunities, and it's been an obstacle to keep up with this, keep up with the demands. Great problem to have, obviously, but I look at this obstacle as an opportunity. So it's a great opportunity for me to build this out and make something special that will serve you guys, but also it's an awesome opportunity for us to create a positive impact. So do good things with good energy. That's what we're all about, and make a positive impact around us. So I mean that. But first, before we get into the meat of what we're going to get into today, I want to make sure that everybody understands how we got to this point today. And some of you may know it. Actually, a lot of you may not. So just so you know, this is my little pharmacy, 1,300 square feet in rural Kentucky. And yeah, there it is. If you look over there on the right side, that right drive-through, this is a picture I took from that drive-through window in 2015, so shortly after we opened. Yes, that is a field. Yes, that's a man on a tractor. And yes, that is a cornfield. My store is not only in a small town, but it's located on the outskirts of a small town. And if I'm being honest, it looked like this lots of times. We literally saw more wildlife outside of our drive-through window than we saw people coming in our front doors. I mean, it's beautiful. I'll give you that. But at the same time, if you're going to have a business, you need people coming in. So what would you do? You're a pharmacy, so you need to fill prescriptions, right? And I know so many people whose kitchen tables look like this. And as a pharmacist, I don't like that. I think, actually, I don't think, I know, I'm going to state this as a fact. We are an over-medicated society, and I know that because you're here today, you believe the same thing as me. And to me, being a pharmacist does not mean being a dispenser, just giving people stuff, knowing that they're going through struggles and they're over-medicated. To me, being a pharmacist, I want to be an answer. So, to get us up to speed, being an answer for us, one of the things that we worked on was delivering high-quality supplements, getting to if we could, help get to the root of an issue, educate people on depletions and deficiencies and how can we fix that. So we started that several years ago. And then I got to take you back real quickly. My apologies. I got to take you back to 2020 real quickly. We all know what happened then. In the background there, you can see our NC packs. These are our compliance packs that we use for prescriptions and supplements. In 2020, I always look for the silver lining. Lots of people became aware that they had to be proactive about their health. I need to be healthy if I want to, have this outcome. And it was a good time for us. I mean, as good as it could be for us to educate people and get them engaged with, hey, this is what it looks like being proactive with your health and possibly preventing, these conditions that could be playing against you right now. I'll leave out a lot of details. All the way to the spring of 2022, we had one video go viral, and we had a second video go viral, and ultimately, that's what's led us to this right now. So, with so many people engaging with this little pharmacy, really in the middle of nowhere, I'm here today to deliver to what, quite frankly, thousands of people have told me that they want. And I've had the opportunity and the good fortune to connect with some of you guys on the phone at the pharmacy where you've called and said, I have a question about this or that. And I get into these half-hour conversations, these really lively conversations, and I say, hey, by the way, make sure you're watching out for what we're doing in February because it's going to be all these things and I think you're going to love it. And this is what I was told over and over. Almost every single person used these two words. It sounds like you're about to blow up. Meaning, and I love that response. It means, what they were saying was, that's so cool. You're gonna become so much more popular because of that. And I love that response and I appreciate it. But I want to be really clear about something. This is a picture of my hometown. It's where I was born and raised. I was away for about 11 years throughout school and working some different places. Came back in 2014 when we opened the store. Population of my town, city limits is 4,800 people. The county's 19,000. Guys, we have like almost 300,000 people following us online right now. So that's a huge number for me. I want you to know very clearly that nothing about what I'm showing you today is about us becoming more popular. It's about delivering you guys, and that's the word that comes to mind. And I mean this. I'm going to say it multiple times today, but I'm very grateful for you. For whatever the reason is that you found us and that you support us. I really do appreciate it. This is for you. Now, putting all this effort into this event today, I have to take a moment and tell you about my why. Just like the story of our pharmacy, some of you guys may not know this about me, and some may, but I'll make this quick. This is my family. It's a lot of chaos, a lot of fun, a lot of personalities within the six of us. As with any family, we have our own complexities, obviously. For my wife, from the moment we had our oldest child, it's really made no sense for her to be, no logistical or no financial sense for her to be in the workforce. This is our oldest, Izzy Mae. She was born with a rare neurogenetic condition called Angelman syndrome. Now, let me be clear, she lives a fulfilled life. She is awesome. At the same time, she has challenges, for sure. Lots of therapies, lots of attention is required, for sure. So with that being said, it all falls on my shoulders. And she's my number one why. What can I do? What's in my control that can help me provide her the best future for her and the best life for her? That's what drives me. Now, I put this next slide on here, and I don't want to ruffle anyone's political feathers. I'm going to be totally vulnerable with you guys. I don't remember if Jimmy Carter was a Republican or a Democrat. And frankly, I don't care at all, but I love what he said here, and I've paraphrased a little bit, but I'm just going to take a moment to read it. I have one life and one chance to make it count for something. My faith demands that I do whatever I can, wherever I am, whenever I can, for as long as I can with whatever I have to try and make a difference. And that resonates with me very much. I have to also take a moment and acknowledge my staff. These people work extremely hard running the day-to-day of the pharmacy, and it allows me the opportunity to do awesome things like this. And ultimately, anything that affects the pharmacy not only affects my family, but it affects them and the way they provide for their families. So I'm extremely proud of them. And I'm doing this for you guys. I'm going to say it over and over again. This is quite literally for you. And this is what I've been told over and over throughout your messages, is that you don't feel heard, you don't know who to trust, and you don't know what to do when it comes to taking control of your health and wellness. So, when it comes to that, those three things, and I started to really dig in, how do we deliver on those concerns that people have? Here's what we know. That's what we have to start with, right? What do we know? 93% of people are metabolically unhealthy. Over 90% of people do not have an optimal omega-3 level. 80% of people do not have an optimal vitamin D level. 50% of people do not have optimal magnesium levels, and I could go on and on with these examples, honestly. However, despite knowing all these deficiencies as fact, this is what people's kitchen tables end up looking like. Omegas play a huge role in inflammation. Instead of addressing those deficiencies that we know are so prevalent, we go to NSAIDs, we go to anti-inflammatories, chronically used instead. Instead of looking at vitamin D, we jump into SSRIs, antidepressants. Instead of addressing underlying magnesium deficiencies, we run to Ambien and other sleep medicines that can cause dependency issues. And I think the very fact that you're here today, that you agree with this, that is not the way. It just doesn't make sense. And I'm going to put Izzy May up here one more time to make a point very clear. I never want to come across as, oh, this guy owns a pharmacy and he hates prescriptions and he thinks they're all poison or whatever. That's absolutely not the case. I think that every single person who has a pulse and who's breathing today needs to be very thankful for the luxury that is modern medicine. And the reason I put Izzy May's picture up here is because my family and I are extremely hopeful for her future because of the advances of modern medicine. We think she's going to do all things in time, and we're thankful for the science behind it. The thing is, modern medicine doesn't always need to be first line, and that's what it seems like it's come to. 7 minutes. Some of you guys know exactly what I'm talking about when I say this. 7 minutes, that's the average amount of time that people get with their primary care providers. And it's not the fault of the provider, it's the system, no doubt. And when I was sharing this stat with somebody a couple days ago, they said, here's another one for you. The average doctor is 17 years behind the current science. And that's not just doctors, let's be honest. That's pharmacists, that's nurses, that's anybody else in healthcare. The average person is 17 years behind the data. When I talk about all these stats, and you put it all into one bundle, this is what comes to mind to me. When you know all these stats, you're liable. You're liable because you know these things. Now, what are you going to do about it? So, there's my brief intro to what we're going to get into today. After 9 months, after tens of thousands of dollars, after working with consultants, after working with the software, after doing market research, I'm happy to present to you this community. Now, I hope everybody knows we're North Century Pharmacy. You can see on the mortar and pestle there. We kind of go by NCP. Our packs, as I've already mentioned, go by NC packs. So here it is, guys. NC. So if you've wondered how in the heck has this guy spent tens of thousands of dollars, what's up with this? I hired a very fancy marketing agency to name this community for me. I'm just kidding. We did spend a lot of time on like, what are we going to call this thing? And yeah, we landed on NC Plus. So I don't think the name of it is the most important thing. I hope you like it. We actually spend a lot of time on it, to be honest with you. But this is what it is. This is the place where you can feel heard, where you can get info that you can trust. And I'm really proud of this. It's not just information, it's not opinions. This is info that's rooted in data, and not only data itself, but good data, and where you can help reach your outcomes with the help of experts. And I should have said this already, I really want to make this as interactive as possible. If you're liking this, if this sounds good, drop an emoji, drop a heck yeah or something, or right on in the comments. I'd love to see that. So, again, this is the issue I have. I don't like this. This is what my inbox has looked like for months and months and months. Knowing that we literally have thousands of people asking, wanting information from us. Like, I take that very seriously. And when we have this inbox all the time, how are we going to fix this where it's just 99 plus every single day? That doesn't make me proud. So like, this is the solution to that. And when I say team, I really mean it. This is taking the work, the hard work of lots of people to get this thing materialized, to get to where we are today. So I want to tell you about some of the folks we've got on our side, and I'm being dead serious about this. I think I have the best people possible in these seats. So first, I want to tell you about Dana. I was at a business dinner in September, and I was telling a guy about my vision. I was like, this is a thing I want to do with this community. I want to build this whole thing out. And his response was just those 3 words: you need Dana. I was like, who's Dana? Dana is the reason that this thing looks the way it does today. When I had my first call with her, I was like, this is what these people want. This is what they need. And I was telling her everything I was going to do. And then she just questioned me right away. She's like, is that what they really want? And I said, I think so. And that was the problem. So if you did a survey, then that was Dana's doing. So we put together surveys. We did literal market research to put this together. Dana even did virtual calls with some of you to really get candid feedback and to know exactly what you guys want. And that's why I feel so good about what we're doing, is because it's built on your exact feedback. She has 20 years of community building expertise. She has actually helped build thousands of communities. And we've been working together for months strategizing this. So I appreciate her so much. Dana, I know you're watching. Thank you. Sherry, I hired her as a medical editor. She's also a published author. She has 39 years experience. This is very handy. Not only is she an editor and author, she's a registered nurse. She's worked in tons of different settings, and she has meticulous attention to detail. She has taken lots of my content and built out a knowledge library, and then also been able to pull in studies to support the information we're putting out there. This has been a great experience to work with Sherry. Sheila, I can only smile when I say her name. Just like me, Sheila is a doctor of pharmacy. She used to own her own compounding pharmacy, and is a former owner as well, obviously. More importantly to me, I've considered her a mentor for many years, and she's actually the reason that I got into professional grade supplements in the first place, and that I went all in with compounding, and she just had a huge impact on a lot of the big decisions I've made throughout my career. She has an integrative health coaching certificate from Duke University, and she's a member of the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine. She has a lot more credentials, but the slide was getting pretty full, so I'm gonna stop there. But it's been an awesome experience. When she reached out to me, knowing what I was working on, I've been able to actually hire my mentor to come in and deliver value to you guys. So I'm so excited about that. And then also Hallie. Hallie is a nationally board certified health and wellness coach. She is a personal trainer, certified by the National Academy of Sports Medicine, and she's a whole food nutritional counselor and a founder and CEO of her own health coaching business. And what I love about Hallie is that she has a passion for a rounded approach. And I'll talk about this a little more before we finish up today, but supplements are great. And supplements, as you may have heard me say before, they're just that. They're not replacements. And we have to look at the whole approach of someone's health and not just say, yeah, take this supplement and magic is going to happen. So I very specifically brought in Hallie. She loves supplements. She knows supplements as well. But I brought her in to spark engagement and to get you guys really thinking about what a rounded approach is. So it's going to be a lot of fun to have her in there. So here's a few screen grabs. I just wanted to show you what it's going to feel like when you get in there. On the top right, I couldn't help but throw out berberine. People are nuts about it, obviously, but we get tons of questions about that. So we have a whole document, a whole knowledge library that's built around berberine itself. On the bottom right there, you can see energy support. So you can kind of go in and look for what I want to increase my energy. What can I do there? On the bottom left, I'm really excited about personal stories. So we get lots of, we have a huge library of information over the past several months where people have written in and said, hey, I have these things going on. What do you suggest? You're gonna be able to go in and look at those and see if there's any parallels that may resonate with you. So in summary, this is what it looks like. Extensive knowledge library, like I've already said, a standing 10% discount. I've read your feedback. I know that cost is an issue for many of you. Totally get it, understand. First dibs on new products and services. If you followed along with us for a while, you know that we have, especially in 2023, we've had lots of struggles when it comes to meeting demand with inventory. And a great problem to have, but nonetheless, it's a problem. So one of my answers is to give you guys first dibs. When we bring out something new, you're gonna know about it first. I'm excited about that myself. We're gonna do monthly giveaways. Giveaways are really hard on social media anymore because of all the spam and stuff. I'm not saying we'll never do those on our bigger, on our platforms, but every month we'll do a giveaway with you guys. I'm gonna talk about one of those today. Access obviously to the expert health coaches, guided courses covering different important topics, unique wellness challenges. We're gonna have a lot of fun with those, and exclusive webinars and special guests. So only this community will get access to those. And I said community ... because it's a community that believes what we believe. And if I have to sum it up, this is what it is. We get this one life to live in this one body, and it's our calling to make the absolute best of it. I think you believe that. I think that's why you're here today. So again, I want to try to spark a little engagement. If you guys like the way all that sounds, I got a lot more coming for you, but let me know how it's feeling to you so far in the chat. Now, this is what I was told when I started explaining this vision. As I got that value stack together, I'm gonna have health coaches, I'm gonna have these courses, I'm gonna have all this stuff. Experts in the industry were kind of like, you can't do that. When I told them what the cost that I wanted to deliver it at, you can't do all that stuff for what the price is that you're trying to say. $60 a month. They're like, if you're gonna have health coaches and this many people in there, you're gonna have to charge $60 a month. And I said, no, it's not gonna happen. And I mean this. This is what I told them. I said, I owe this to them. You people have supported me and my small business in a tremendous way. And I'll dive into this a little more later. Nothing about this is about how do I profit off of these people. Okay, if you're not gonna do $60, can you do 50? No. Can you do 40? No. Here's what I'm doing. The knowledge library, the discount, the first dibs, the giveaways, the health coaches, the courses, the challenges, the webinars and special guests, and to be part of a like-minded community, doing all that for $19.99 a month. Now, I'm gonna get rid of that slide really quickly because I didn't build this all up for you guys to come here today and be like, hey, I built this thing, it's $19.99. I got so much more to show you today. This is where it gets fun. Today, I'm gonna show you guys, just like I said, you're gonna get first dibs on stuff. I'm gonna show you a total of 4 products, 3 brand new products today that I've been holding out on. And we'll get into those right now. So as I spoke about earlier, over 90% of people do not have optimal omega-3 levels. 80% of people do not have optimal vitamin D levels. And what we mean by that is 8 to 12% on an omega-3 index score and a score of 50 or more when it comes to vitamin D. Check this out. Yours truly, that means me. When I checked mine several months ago, I had a 5.8 omega-3 index score. Now that's actually not terrible. Lots of people are at like a 3. But until you measure, you don't know. The bottom one was concerning. The term I used was, it freaked me out. My vitamin D level was 24, knowing that I wanted to be at 50. And that's after using vitamin D for some time. So when I saw that level, I ran home, I went through and found some genetic reports that I had from a couple years ago. And sure enough, there were some genetic variants that could explain possibly why I'm deficient in vitamin D, despite supplementing with it. But here's what I think about this, about genetics. I love this saying that our genes and our genetics are the piano. We're the piano player. So what am I gonna do about that? And I'm gonna tell you more about that in just a moment. But I know these levels because of the first product I wanna show you today, which is this. This is an omega-3 index and vitamin D test kit. These are not on our website. These are not available to the layperson. These are just gonna be available to you guys first. This is a test you can do at home. It takes just a few seconds to do the test. You mail it in, a couple weeks you get your results. So let me explain more why I specifically did an omega-3 and a vitamin D test in combination. Omega-3 decreases the risk of all these things. This is how important it is, guys. Dementia, that's huge. I don't have to go into detail about that. Stroke, vision problems, breast cancer, heart disease, joint issues, fatty liver, which is a super common issue. And yes, it decreases the risk of mortality. There's actually longevity data behind, strong data behind omega-3 levels. There's even a study that says having optimal vitamin or omega-3 levels can increase life expectancy by 4.7 years. Pretty big deal. Vitamin D. Look at what it helps decrease. This isn't everything, but it decreases the risk of all these things: depression, obesity, certain cancers. You probably heard me say before, having a level over 50 is indicative of reducing your chances of breast cancer by 50%. Osteoporosis, low immunity, diabetes, asthma, and heart disease, which is something I'm going to dive into in just a little bit. So let me know how you're feeling about that. If you would love to know, if you don't know right now, and I know less than 5 people that know their omega-3 index level, honestly. If you would like to know your level, drop an emoji in there. Give me a yeah, heck yeah, or a right on, or something like that. But here's the thing I want to say about vitamin D too. Lots of people take vitamin D, but why do they still have these issues that we're looking at here? For one, a lot of them take suboptimal doses. They just take doses that are way too low. But another big reason is inflammation. If you have inflamed tissues, your vitamin D metabolites are not going to be optimal. So you have to fix your inflammation, to state the obvious. If we look back at the father of medicine, Hippocrates, all disease begins in the gut. He said that like 2,000 years ago. I think the guy was onto something. I think we've come to realize that. And these are just some terms. I'm not going to give a whole lecture on this, but these are some terms that come up when we think about inflammation and poor gut health. Tight junctions. There's a single layer of cells in your intestines that are held together by tight junctions. And when those are compromised, you have leaky gut, which is much more common than people believe. A healthy mucin layer. This is a mucus layer that goes throughout your GI tract, helps for food motility and lots of other things. Lots of people have a diminished layer there. Enzyme levels. When you don't have optimal gut health, the enzymes that need to be secreted to help you digest your food properly don't happen. Sphincter function, particularly your lower esophageal sphincter. When the pH gets altered in your stomach, the feedback for that sphincter to operate correctly doesn't happen, and you get things like reflux and other problems. And then lastly, toxin overload. So, getting into product number 2, what is a detox? First of all, some people get really triggered by the word detox. We've been dispensing detoxes for a long time, and I'm always very clear. We never promote anything that causes that requires a caloric deficiency or requires some sort of crazy laxative action. Those are not what we're talking about here. But what happens with toxins? They're all around us. They're in our food, beverages, they're in products, they're in the environment. The majority of those are fat soluble. So when we're exposed to them, they get into our fat and they live there and they accumulate for years and years and years. And I don't have to tell you this, when toxins accumulate, it causes problems, right? So, we've been doing detoxes for a long time. This is a screen grab of me from 2019 doing our 10-day detox. I was obviously enjoying myself. This was out of a rap video, actually. I really liked that program. It was it was pretty strict and restrictive, but it was a great program nonetheless for what it was supposed to do. At the end of the day, though, I scared a lot of people off because it was pretty restrictive. So we pivoted and we made a 7-day detox instead. We've been doing that for some time. Now, that program went well until we had raw ingredient supply issues. So we had to pivot with some of our products that were in our current program. And frankly, the taste and texture of our shakes were not up to par for what we wanted. So we've pivoted once again, and today, for the first time, we're rolling out our brand new 7-day detox. It's more simple, it's effective, it's cheaper than past versions, and it's palatable. And I'll get into that in just a second. So here it is right here. There's the mix, here's the book, the caps or the shaker bottle, and the capsules. I won't go into too much, try to bore you with the details here, but I want you to know what you're going to be able to get. This Vitality Mix, 40 pounds of nutrition in one serving. So if you look at like what foods deliver which nutrients, you can say that one serving results in 40 pounds of nutrition while having the calories of 2 eggs. Another way to put it is it's the equivalent of taking 6 different supplements, highly anti-inflammatory. It tastes great and it's nutritional. And what I want to say about that is that this is stevia and sugar-free. So it's not super sweet. Some of you guys may get this and say, oh, my birthday cake, protein powder is a lot better. Yeah, it's probably got tons of sugar in it as well. I've never tasted anything that tastes this good with as much nutrition being sugar-free. Now, if you want to doctor it up, put stevia in it, put fruit, ice, whatever, that's fine. It includes the digestive enzymes, particularly has an enzyme that helps you absorb protein efficiently. This has 26 grams of protein per serving, which is protein, something I'm very passionate about. You probably heard me talk about it. And yes, indeed, it's an effective tool for weight loss. The second and only other component with this, very simple program, like I said, is Move Along capsules. This supports phase 3. So phase 1 and 2 is getting those toxins out, those fat-soluble toxins out of your fat and making them water-soluble. Phase 3 is what gets the toxins out of the body. I've had people in the past who have not succeeded or not felt a lot better after doing a detox, and when asking them if they're clearing out their toxins, if they're going to the bathroom, some of them have gone maybe once in 10 days, and that is not ideal for a detox at all. So this is a bedtime supplement. It's not any kind of crazy stimulant whatsoever. And it's also a 30-day supply. But when you do that, resorption just means that the toxins moved out and then they're just getting reabsorbed. So we don't want that. The booklet, we've done detoxes, like I said, for years. I've answered tons and tons of questions. So I've put together this booklet from front to back myself. It's 13 pages, lots of FAQs, and lots of really clear guidance on how to execute on this program. So if you've never done one, I love this program, and I think you're going to love it too. Now, moving on to the third product, and back to vitamin D. This is a Micelized vitamin D product. Now, you may know vitamins A, D, E, and K are fat soluble. And I know lots and lots of you, just based upon your direct feedback with us, struggle with getting your vitamin D levels optimal. What Micelization does, it takes the fat-soluble vitamin D and makes it into a water-soluble vehicle. It's measured, this is measured in drops, this particular product. So it's not, you don't take a whole dropper full, you don't take a full milliliter. You actually measure it out in individual drops. That's how potent it is. So Micelization is 5 times, it makes it 5 times more potent. So these are 1,200 IU per drop, which is basically 6,000 IU equivalent. One bottle like this, because it's measured in drops, there's over 700 drops in this. This is a year's supply. And I personally use this when I got my levels back and found out my levels of vitamin D were at 24. In 6 weeks, I went to a 74. And I know lots of you watching this right now have never gotten your vitamin D levels over a 30, even after trying to do, 50,000 IU once a week or whatever. Love this product. And what's beautiful about this community is if you use a product like this, we can guide you based upon your levels exactly how to use this. Now, the last thing I want to show you, this is a third new thing today I want to show you, is based upon metabolic syndrome. This is something I'm convicted about. This is really what we're after. When we talk about blood pressure, triglycerides, HDL cholesterol, waist circumference, and fasting glucose, these are very important things. And these aren't, other than waist circumference, these are things that people don't really like to talk about. It's just not fun. It's not that interesting to them. I actually did an interview yesterday with WebMD about this very topic, about metabolic syndrome. And they were like, why are more people not talking about this? It's very important. They're talking about waist circumference, but they're not talking about the rest of the stuff. It's not exciting. But here's the thing. If you have 3 of those, if 3 of those aren't in range, that means you have metabolic syndrome. But 90% of people check at least 1 box. And I mentioned the answer to this question a little bit earlier. What's the #1 killer in the world? It's heart disease. And in this community, it would be wrong of us not to address something that is the #1 killer. So I'm going to have more to say about this later. But with this last product I want to show you today, this is a booklet I put together. And I had to laugh a little bit because, it's a 40-page booklet. But I sat at my computer for I don't know how many days building this out from scratch, from front to back, because I want to address things from a comprehensive standpoint. I've already said that once, and I'll say it again, because I really believe in that, taking an approach, looking at the whole picture. So what this book will help you do is identify what habits, the name of the book's Healthy Habits, what habits do you have that are good or not? This book can provide accountability. I'm really going to challenge everybody to just take at least 1 month and fill it out for 30 days straight and identify what your moves really are and how that's affecting your health. So it addresses the 4 pillars of sleep management, stress management, diet, and exercise. Here's a look inside what it looks like. I didn't get super granular with it. I don't like giving people, caloric restrictions or, counting macros. I just want this to be an accountability thing for you so you can look back at the end of 30 days and say, yes, this is why I am or why I'm not hitting my goals. There's lots of check-in points in here too. So, this is definitely a passion project, but I love this little book. So, back to the community, which I know is why you're here today, and I'm going to tie this all together. This is really important. I want you to understand this. When I think of NC+, this is us, sort of. What I mean by that is that this is not us. Big ships turn slowly, and sometimes they have accidents because of that. We're like a jet ski. We can turn really fast. And you guys are watching today during the launch because I'm inviting you in to be part of the initial small group. This is phase 1. And just like we've done market research and built this out to your exact specifications, we're going to do the same thing when it comes to phase 2. We're going to ask for your feedback, and we're going to build it to what you want, because this, once again, is for you. I hope you know, I got a lot more to say about the community, but I hope you do realize that, the more of you that support it, the more that can deliver. Like I said, people were telling me you need to be charging $60 or whatever. I want to make it as low ticket as possible, and we do need volume to be able to support you guys with resources that you need. So, once again, with the community, the knowledge library, the discount, the first dibs, the giveaways, the health coaches, the courses, the challenges, the webinars, and special guests, and the sense of community, all that for $19.99 a month. But I'm not even offering it to you today. You don't even have that option today. Reason is because I think if you guys took time out on your Saturday to be with me, I think a lot of you are ready to be all in. And if you are all in, I've got something that's quite ridiculous for you. So if you commit to an annual pass, it's not going to be $240 a year. It's going to be $197. And I really want you to come in for the year. I'll explain that more later. So basically, you're getting 2 months and then some for free. So the library, the discount, the first dibs, the giveaways, the health coaches, the courses, the challenges, the webinar special guests, the community, all that drops down to $16.42 a month. I hope that sounded very reasonable for you. Wow, right? No, I didn't build all this up. If you come in for a year, you deserve a discount. We love you for that. So that's not a wow. So here we go. This is where it gets real. The omega-3 index and vitamin D test. I've heard horror stories of people getting billed $175 for a vitamin D level. You have to ask for it from your doctor. Omega test, like I said, I know less than 5 people who even know theirs. So instead of getting these 2 tests done for maybe over $200, for the layperson on our website, eventually these will be available for $97 on our website. The Micelized D, they got my levels from 24 to 74 in just 6 weeks. Year supply is going to be $30, well, it already is, it's on the website, $36. Our detox, cheaper than what we've done it for in the past, $139. And my book, my little book that I love so much, Money Can't Buy Me Love, I had to put a price on it, $8. Add all that up, $280. Now, if you're following along, 10% off, you can get all this stuff for $252, right? But this next piece is why you're here today. What about, instead of $280, you're able to get all this stuff for $200 today instead, $80 off, just for you guys. Or, what about 50% off? Instead of $280, drop it all the way down to $140 for you, since you care so much and you're here. What about $100? The test, the vitamin D, the booklet, the detox, $280 worth of stuff for $100. When you come in at the annual pass, So not $240, but $197 a year. You're gonna get all this stuff, the kit, the detox, and the booklet. $280 worth of stuff, $0. I'm gonna send you I'm gonna send you all this stuff for free, and I'm even gonna cover the shipping. I did not make this URL, first of all. My tech team told me yesterday this is the URL they made, eastonsbday.com. So right now, my team should be putting this in the chat for you to go get in. And like I said, it's gonna be a limited amount because we're adamant about delivering on our promises. So eastonsbday.com. I love those guys, so I'm not gonna give them a hard time. When they told me the URL, I was like, fine. First 500, we're gonna get your stuff out really, really quickly. I hope you guys understand this. When it comes to fulfilling this volume of stuff, it does take time, and it takes time to secure supply on stuff. We're gonna let in more than 500, but we are gonna limit the seating for this first phase. But I want you to know, if you're in the first 500, we're gonna get your stuff to you really quickly. If you're not in that first one, be patient with us. You're still gonna come in for a discounted price to the community for the annual pass, and we're still gonna send you the free stuff as we're available, as we can get it all put together. It takes time in our little store to do all this, so I hope you understand that. But very seriously, all of this, I'm doing this as a thank you to you guys. And I know I've said it over and over, and I'll say it again. This is directly for you. And I want you to understand the magnitude of this for a small business like mine. I'm prepared to give away over $500,000 in value in this first phase. And actually, quite a bit more than $500,000. So yes, I do believe this is going to be incredible, and I hope you're already making your way into the community. Now, I got a little bit of real talk for you. The tech guys made the URL Easton's B-Day because I have to face the music. I turn 40 tomorrow. Now, for some of you, that sounds old. For some of you, that sounds young still. But what I think about when I realize I'm turning 40 is that time stops for no one. And as much as ever, it's time for me to really dial in my own health for my family and for myself and for all the things I want to do. And especially having a platform like this where you guys care about what we're doing so much, it's important for me to really be dialed in myself. So I felt a little conviction. I was always telling people to check your levels, do all this stuff. I had my blood work done for a couple of years, and everything was fine when I had it done the last time. So in December, not too long ago, I went to my provider and got my lab work done, and I was a little shocked. This is what came back on my report. Possible familial hypercholesterolemia. So FH should be suspected when fasting LDL, which is a lipid marker. Cholesterol is above 189. Now, just like with my vitamin D, I was like, something's weird, this can't be right. So I ran home again, and I ran to my genetic report. And sure enough, I do have a genetic variant that probably explains why the level was that high. But once again, our genes are the piano, we're the piano player. What am I going to do about it? And this is what I want you to know. I'm a customer. I believe wholeheartedly in what we're doing, and this was my move going forward once I got those results back. 1, 2, and 3. I started adding 1 capsule of dihydroberberine once a day. This is December, right when I got my results back. I started adding 2 capsules a day of bergamot. It's great for cholesterol and lipids. And then I had already added an extra omega. So I was taking 3 Opti-Omega 950s a day, knowing that my omega-3 index wasn't where I wanted it to be. Now, there was a lot of pressure on me to do this because I got this information in December, and I was like, I got this big launch coming up, and what's going to be my testimony? I have all the resources, I have all the information, so what can I do about it? And here's what happened. In 6 weeks, my LDL decreased by 19%. My very low density lipoprotein, my VLDL, decreased by 37%. My triglycerides decreased by 35%. So you may have seen our content where I've said this recently lots of times. It's measure. You don't know till you know a lot of times. And it's never my goal to just sell somebody a product when they don't really know what the outcome, what they're even shooting for, or what the outcome is if it's something that can be measured. And to be truthful, this is really why I'm leaning into the annual pass, and why I'm only making that available right now, is because good things take time. And this stuff is important. So I want to tell you one more thing, and it's going to get into an exciting thing about the community. Around that same time, when I got my lipids back, is the same time that I installed a machine that's called the M-Body. It's a body composition analyzer in our pharmacy. And I was already in this season of like measuring, right? Because I really want to live this stuff that I'm telling you guys. So what was cool to see as well is in that same time period, measuring my body, I was able to actually lose 12 pounds of body fat and add 5 pounds of skeletal muscle. And all I'll tell you about that is that I prioritize protein. I didn't even count calories or count macros. Prioritize protein, minimize saturated fats, minimize added sugars. And I don't share this with you to be like, oh, look what I did. But I just want to drive this home as the importance when you measure and you know what you're working toward. It's really important. So, as I wrap up, I want to be really clear about this, and I hope you guys have already seen this. There's not a stitch in me that when I put this whole event together, this whole community together, there's not a stitch in me that thought, I can put this thing together, I can make this much money off of these people. I really mean it when I say you have transformed our business, you supported us so much for whatever reason that it is, and like I said from the get-go, I owe this to you guys. And even from a business perspective, I'm ready to give away tons, hundreds of thousands of dollars in value worth of stuff to you guys to come in. I want us to get cozy. That's the word that comes to mind for me. That's what it's about for me, is, I take it very seriously that we get some of your attention. I want you guys for us to be your resource when you work on yourself, when you work on your goals and your outcomes. And that's the business play for me, is that you don't take anything more than what you need. I don't want people taking things blindly. People come in my store and they grab 3 things, or maybe they grab 5 things and they got $150 worth of stuff, and they're like, I saw you talk about all this stuff, I want all this. I send them out the door with like 2 things a lot of times, $40. Like, start here and let's do it. And let's talk again in 4 to 6 weeks and see where you're at, see how we can adjust. That's what I wish I could do that for everybody. That's the point of this community. It's not about just selling more stuff to more people. It's about people taking things for very definitive reasons and getting outcomes that are meaningful. So, if you can't tell, I put a lot into this, and I hope that you seriously consider, if you haven't already, click the link, come on into the community, let's get cozy. I know that we can really thrive together. This is a passion of mine that's not going anywhere, and I know that the fact that you've shown up today, that you want similar things. So I'm going to leave you with this. We get this one life to live in this one body, and it's our calling to make the absolute best of it. If you believe that, then this community is where you belong. And this is a place where you can be heard. This is a place where you can get info that you can trust. And this is a place where we believe that age is just a number. As I say this is in the last day of my 30s. Age is just a number, and good health is an option. And we're in this together. I thank you so much for showing up today. I started this whole presentation off with, oh, I got one more thing to show you. On the body composition thing, I really wasn't telling you that story just to boast. I'm glad I remembered this. Speaking of giveaways, this is a machine that I use at home. I have a big machine at the store. This is a machine I use at home. It's in my office. I use it way too much, but this has an awesome app with it. This is valued at $382. This is going to be the first giveaway we do in the community right before, before the month of February is up. This will be the first giveaway we give away. So I want you to see this. My friends at InBody gave me this to pass along to you guys. I want you to see this and know that like this is the giveaway because I believe in so much more than supplements, and measuring and really driving outcomes is so important. So my apologies for sliding that in at the last minute, but yeah, very excited about giving this away too. So anyhow, guys, I started this whole thing with this is it. I'm ending it with let's do this. All right, I'll see you inside.